On today's Toy Spot, we're going to be having a look at the Bandai Thundercats 2011 series figures. Today we're going to be looking at a very fantastically hot Cheetara. I had a crush on Cheetara. I'm sure many kids growing up in the 80s had a crush on Cheetara. And I think the Cheetara from the new cartoon series is just as smoking hot. Is hot? Oh well. The package-wise features a very that the new series kept that and didn't decide to change it all that much. Especially the Thundercats logo. By this time, I mean this, to change up the top corner, we've got a picture of Cheetara with her staff. I'm also noticing as well, can you see that the staff is clearly bent. I don't know why. I'm hoping this isn't going to be a problem when I get the figure that activates vehicles and whatnot. On the back of the package, Thundercats is an epic fantasy combining swords and science and boasting ferocious battles between good and evil. Cheetara is an expert fighter whose duty is to protect Lion-O and the Sword of Omens at any cost. Is that really a bad thing? I wouldn't mind having Cheetara guarding me. Down below, moving along, down below, collect them all. The other figures you can get in this wave, other things that you can get from the new Thundercats line are the Thunder Racers, the Thunder Tank, the Lizard Cannon, and the Tower of Omens playset. I'm going to take myself a bit of a break, and then we're going to have a look at the figure of Cheetara. There's more on the way, guys. Stay tuned. Don't go anywhere. Alright, so we've got Cheetara is quite warped. We really have to have the staff in shape. The staff, though, is a rubbery plastic, which also doesn't really help the cause. They could have made it a little more substantially, well, substantial. Instead of making it, it's almost like licorice. Delicious staff flavored licorice. But a bit of a, at any rate, looking at the figure itself, let's zoom in first. The Cheetara, I think, looks really, really nice. Detailing on her is really solid, actually. I like the hair. I think they did a good job. And it really, aside from the Olivia's hair that I've got on her there, I think they really did a good job on her. On the back here is the magnet, the Thunder links. You can't see it, but there's my finger. But the likeness is pretty spot on for the cartoon. I mean, it's a small figure too. I mean, it's a small figure, and yes, it has the black peg holes that are connecting her arms. She's also got them in her legs here, but you know what? I'm not all that bothered by it. I really am not bothered by it at all. The nice, like she's got a nice gold, and she's got like the brown that kind of accents it. I also really like the fact that they put the Thundercats symbols, it seems, in the same spots as the original Thundercats characters had them. It's a very nice, rewarding update, I think, to the original Cheetara character. Turn around there. Really, really like it. And I'm hoping that a lot of other figure companies take their cue from this. If you follow this channel enough, you probably will have seen several of the Justice League figure reviews that I've done. And what is the #1 gripe that I always have when it comes to female figures? Anybody? Anybody? It is generally the legs. And you know the story with the legs. Well, actually, let me zoom in here. To get the sculpt on a women's figure, they generally give her the V connecting points on the articulation. The men usually are just straight on so they can move their legs back and forth, but to get the women sculpted, they usually make the legs cut on an angle, which is all right because of this really, really silly articulation. Now, what Bandai has done is they've taken probably, I guess, the only way that you can give this additional swivel in the thighs. So even though the legs bend out really, really awkward, there is a secondary point in the thigh that you just rotate the legs and it straightens those legs out. And it straightens them out to the point that she can sit in a vehicle and it's not awkward. Obviously though, when you straighten the legs back out, yes, Cheetara will look like she has to go to the bathroom. She looks like she's been holding it a little too long, but I do really like the fact that they went this route. And I think for any other toy companies out there, this should be the mark, I think, for a smart way to go with women figures. If only some of the Justice League Huntress, Wonder Woman, and stuff like that sit in the Javelin without this really awkward V positioning of their legs. So I really like that. Other articulation on Cheetara, she doesn't seem to have any articulation in the head because, as with any female figure, usually a hair is always the culprit for it. And also the point that her Thunderlink is actually in her ring. I can live really with the black on the connector points here, but why oh why did they not just color that a yellow to go with the rest of her hair? Because that just kind of looks awkward. Sure, it could be a really large like hair barrette or whatever women would put in their hair, but really they could have easily colored that yellow. She has a pin in her shoulders, will allow her arms to move out area. She can bend at the elbows. She can also rotate in the hands. Legs, of course, as mentioned, the swivel in the thigh, bend at the knee, and there appears to be no articulation at all in the feet. The only other problem I really would comment on, if there was an issue, is the swivel point in the thigh. As you can see, as I'm rotating it, it looks like it's prone to want to come out. Rough with moving this leg. It might easily just be a peg, but just in case it breaks, do be careful with that. Let's put the staff in Cheetara's hands. The fact that the staff is also rubbery makes for an easy way to get the staff in. There's a lot of give to the staff. You don't have to fight with it too much to get her to hold like so. Again, the staff is a little warped. I'm gonna have to warm that up a bit. But I'm really happy with the Cheetara, and it really turned out decent. A really nice addition to the other Thundercats figures. If you've already been collecting the smaller scale Thundercats, you probably will obviously get yourself a Cheetara to fill out the rest of the team. But another real solid reason to pick up this set. I'm going to give Cheetara here a 6.5, a really solid addition to the Thundercats team. Today's toy spot, it's a shame that Bandai Thundercats 2011 series figures, we're looking today at Cheetara. I thank you guys for watching. Stay tuned for more Thundercats reviews. There are more.